Vocal Eye Almost Live Zoom. Virtual Tour with Audio Description. The Met. Hosted by Amy Amanti, with special guest Emily Crew.
All right, my friends, it's a big welcome from me to you all to this Vocal Eye Almost Live event. I'm Amy Amanti, she, her pronouns, and I am the Associate Director here at Vocal Eye. I'm your host for these almost live events, and I'm a proud member of this blind community. You're my friends. I like hanging with you on a Wednesday night. I like seeing you out in the world. And for those of you who aren't based locally, I always have these dreams of like where in my travel destination I'm going to go in order to connect with you all. So at some point, those dreams are going to manifest in reality. So big thank you to you all for joining us in these almost live Zoom rooms. For sharing your thoughts and your support letters and your testimonials and your donations and all of those things. We're really grateful for all of the support that comes in. Big thank you for all of those local folks who came and spent time with us at the Fringe Festival and supported artists by buying swag and donating to the artists directly. Some of the artists, I actually bumped into one of the artists just a couple of days ago while I was working at the Arts Club from Brain. And she shared with me how lovely it was to spend time with you all at that show on the Sunday Fringe Day. So she was really delighted to be one of the two performers that was able to share some time with you all. So there you go. Your presence was recognized and enjoyed and delighted in the space. So people know that we're there and they love it. So there you go. If friends happen to be watching us on our YouTube channel, you can get involved as well. If you're blind or low vision, come and hang with us. If you're not, you can still support us. You can follow us. Christy posts about all sorts of shows that she goes to. She does a great job at reviewing them. So you can come and try the equipment if you want to and see what audio description is all about for our live arts and culture events. You can click like and subscribe. You can get involved with our newsletters. You can let people know about what we do and how important it is to provide accessible arts and culture for people who are blind and low vision. So please connect with us. Vocal Eye is broadcasting to you all from the traditional and unceded or stolen lands of the Coast Salish peoples, in particular the Squamish, the Musqueam, and the Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. So tonight we're going to talk a bit about, in our content, the first types of mechanics or animatrons and animated moving things. We'll go deeper into that, but while it was something that was on my mind, I thought that I would look into Indigenous cultures and some of the first moving things, in particular in the arts, that Indigenous peoples might have made or interacted with. So the first types of moving figures, mechanical puppets or automated creations made or used by Indigenous peoples across the world were not animatronics in the technological sense, like gears or motors or hydraulics like we know today, but they did create moving animated forms through natural and ingenious methods that could be seen as precursors to animatronics. In North America, for example, many Indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest, which is largely where Vancouver is and down the coast here, like the Haida, so those folks are located in Haida Gwaii area mostly, built transformative masks that could be opened and closed with cords. These masks often revealed a second face or animal within a powerful form of, quote, animation in ceremonies. The mechanics were simple but sophisticated. Pulleys, strings, and hinges made the masks transform in front of an audience. Mechanized dance props were also used. Some dances used carved animals of figures that moved through hidden strings or that were attached to the dancers and were manipulated as they danced through space. For example, a bird's wings might flap, or a puppet might raise and fall with the beat of the music. Which would, of course, have been, we talked about this in another land acknowledgement made by natural instruments from the environment and the sound that the body made. While Indigenous people didn't create animatronics in the modern sense of motors and robotics, they did create mechanical, movable art forms that used hinges, pulleys, strings, and human powered systems. Transformation masks from the Pacific Northwest are often cited as some of the earliest Indigenous examples of animation. Um, I think that's pretty cool. So they're cited as being the first to explore animating art in ways that resemble animatronics. So there you go. As we're going to talk about some of the early forms of animatronics, I thought I would offer that as my land acknowledgement on this Wednesday, September the 24th, 2025, as we offer you our Almost Live event number 194. I can't help but notice how close we're getting to that 200 mark. Tonight, we're going to offer you our described tour of the Metropolitan Museum, which is based in New York. And this one is entitled Making Marvels, Science and Splendor at the Courts of Europe. So our special guest tonight is the very own Emily Crew, who has been with us a few times before. But Emily, why don't you pop into the space? There's probably a square already there and I'm just not noticing it. Oh, no, of course not. It's my face. It's just my
Hi.
face. Come on in, my friend.
Hi, Amy. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Crew. What a wonderful way to bridge into our program tonight. I was just noting everything that you were saying about movable and mechanical art forms, and just the transition is so wonderful, and what a great land acknowledgement. I noted you just saying simple and sophisticated art forms there, and it's just those are the two words that stood out to me because they are simple, but they are very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's early technology and it's many centuries ago, but they're very sophisticated. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I actually thought when I was reading about it, um, like today when you read about it, you're like, oh, come on, you're putting a couple of strings together and a this and a that. And I'm thinking, okay, if we're going back centuries, right? You don't just grab a piece of string. You have to make a piece of string,
Yeah.
right? Like there's all of this stuff that you have to do before you even think about putting pulleys together and you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Well,
So
there's science to it and
yeah,
engineering. And when we think about what are like early computers, like these things eventually lead to something like the sewing machine being made, which some people consider like an early computer.
mhm,
Yes.
yep. Actually, it really isn't an early computer because there was a whole thing. Where did we do this? Oh, it was here in this space where we talked about some tapestries that had been made in like pieces of paper with dots in it.
Hmm.
That you could like set it up and these pieces of dot paper or something that you could just walk away and it would make the pattern on its own. And it's like, holy crow,
Wow,
that's an early computer. Like,
yes.
wow. Yeah.
So some of the works that we'll be checking out today have features that are very similar to what you just mentioned. So
Yes. Very cool.
we'll get into it.
So, remind us a little bit of who you are as an artist and
Hey.
what you're going to offer today in terms of our guide.
Yeah, sure. So I am a practicing artist. I've been working professionally for over 15 years, mostly in moving images. So video art is my thing. Multi-channel video art, so multiple screens at the same time. I do public artworks around town. So like Amy, I'm based in the Lower Mainland, actually North Vancouver, so very close by to Amy. Yes, that's right. I make public artworks. I make artworks that go to experimental film festivals, little art galleries, some smaller museums, and some little animations, things like that. They're abstract, some are also figurative, but they're not your typical like big screen narrative movies that you see. They're arty. Yeah. So that's the type of work that I make. Yes. I'm in the art world, not the film world,
I love
if
it. I
that
love
gives you
it.
some context. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to share with us a bit about this exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum. Have you ever actually been to the Metropolitan Museum yourself?
I sure have. I've been several times.
Oh, what was
So
your experience
yeah,
like?
I have spent many, many years in the arts and studied art formally. So I have some background in art history and have visited several museums along the way, and the Met is one of them. It's been a few years since I've been, and this is not an exhibition that I've seen, but I am a lover of all things art, and this museum is definitely one of my favorites because it encompasses lots of different kinds of art and not just your standard paintings on the wall kind of thing. This is these are sculptures that we're going to see. Um, I have seen some incredible works at the Met, and one of my favorite memories is actually a time when I got to go to the roof of the Met Museum.
Ooh.
Yeah, there was an exhibition, a public art exhibition in Central Park that involved these big, flowy orange flags that were set up. They were called the Gates by Jean-Claude and Christo. And people were invited to go to the roof of the Met Museum and then look down into Central Park and see these big, flowing orange flags. So that's
Hmm.
one of my favorite Met experiences. Hmm.
What were the orange flags about?
Um, It was a public art installation. This is a pair of artists who are known for covering buildings with big tarps. They were also known for, yeah, if that's familiar, these huge umbrellas out in the desert. So this was, they were meant to be these gateways that people would walk underneath, and there were multiple in a row along the pathways through Central Park. So, like hundreds of them. So, if you're
Mhm.
looking at them from above, you see huge flowing orange flags. Yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. I've
Mhm.
never been in a place to witness any of these installations, but I do remember hearing about these artists that were known for
Yeah,
these types of installations. They've been I'm sure everywhere, but
they wrap buildings,
yeah,
large scale buildings, they wrap with big tarps.
that seems almost impossible to me to
Yeah,
actually do.
that's why.
And it would be so interesting to like ask the artist how they do that. Although, like you do public art installations, so you
Hmm.
would have an interesting idea of how that works. And like for me, I always think to myself, like my brain is always working about how we can involve the blind community in doing more things. And I'm like, how
Hmm.
do we get the blind community to work on a public art installation? Like, how do we write a grant for that? And how do we bring awareness to blindness and low vision by creating a public art installation? You know, and it's like, so maybe between you and Lindsay, who's also an artist in the space, we write some kind of grant together where we can get community together, even digitally, and talk about what that art installation could be. And
Yeah,
some people who want to like actually get their hands dirty or whatever and work on it. Well, like what is it, like a big braille display? Is like what is it, right? Uh,
yeah.
because
I
there's just no representation of disability in our public spaces.
yeah, I love that idea. I'm all for it. Yeah.
See that little hamster just doesn't. I'm gonna be thinking on it on the plane tomorrow while I'm flying to
Okay.
Calgary. Yeah, exactly. So there you
Great.
go.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So
Yeah.
if anybody in this Zoom room has ideas of what we could do to make public art, email me, amy@vocali.ca, and let me know because we'll start collecting ideas to put in a grant. And between our two public art artists in the space, we might be able to come up with something that could be doable.
Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, because you all know where to apply, like what city
Yeah.
does public art, and because that's how it works, right? The city
Yeah,
put out a call for whatever, and then they pay you to do
exactly.
the art or whatever.
And I think because it's public, a more collaborative experience of producing it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So we could team up like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool beans. All right, I'm
Cool
excited about stuff.
beans.
Yeah, and then you got somebody who knows like where to manufacture things and like
Exactly. It's a
a
big
leader of a
production.
project and how we could perfect. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Back to the Metropolitan Museum, my friend, because that's really
Sure.
what we're here to talk about, because I could talk about public art all day. Um, what are we gonna learn tonight? What are we gonna share tonight? What do we do?
So, just a little bit of background about the Met. I've got a little bit of info for everyone, and then we can just head on into some of the works that we're looking at.
Right?
Okay, so the Metropolitan Museum of Art presents over 5,000 years of art from around the world for everyone to experience and enjoy. The museum lives in two iconic sites in New York City. So the museum that I was talking about is the main center. So that's the Met Fifth Avenue. And then there's also the Met Cloisters. So that's at a separate location. Millions of people also take part in the Met experience online, which is what we're going to do tonight. Since its founding in 1870, the Met has also aspired to be more than a treasury of rare and beautiful objects. Every day, art comes alive in the museum's galleries and through its exhibitions and events, opening pathways to new ideas and unexpected connections for visitors. So, this is their mission statement online. The Metropolitan Museum of Art collects, studies, conserves, and presents significant works of art across time and cultures in order to connect all people to creativity, knowledge, ideas, and one another. So, shall we get started? So, the
Sounds good to
exhibition,
me.
yeah, that we're going to delve into tonight is called Making Marvels. This is what Amy was talking about, Science and Splendor at the Courts of Europe. So, this exhibition ran from November 25th, 2019 to March 1st, 2020. So, a few years back, we all remember those times. And this exhibition housed 170 objects, and this was brought in from different collections all over the world. So it was a temporary exhibition. And tonight we'll be exploring 6 objects of marvel once collected by European royalty and people of noble classes, treasures that were designed to demonstrate power, spark curiosity, and create moments of surprise and delight.
Awesome.
Okay,
I think before you just talk about the first one, maybe we'll just get Rick to put up a still image
great idea.
of it. Rick, if you can do that, that would be great. And then Emily can talk about it a bit, and then we'll play the audio description video that was created by the Met.
So work 1, as Rick gets this started,
Yeah.
is musical automaton clock with spinet and organ. So if you don't know what a spinet is, it's a type of harpsichord. This is a collaboration between Veit Longenbacher and Samuel Biderman and Son. So father and son duo. And it was created circa 1625. So it's hard to put the exact date, but circa 1625 in Augsburg, Germany. It's made of silver, brass, iron, gilding, ebony, hardwood, parchment, leather, textile, and paint. And this one is actually housed in the permanent collection of the Met. So each part of this marvel is a combination of clock, musical instrument, and automaton. And it would have added, all of these different parts would have added to the expense of it. Its production required the cooperation of several artisans. So as I mentioned, the clock's case is marked Eben, which the Cabinet Makers Guild used to indicate real ebony. So not a cheaper substitute, not a cheaper substitute. Its corners are embellished with fine silver caryatids, which are female supporting ornaments. A caryatid is something that can also be found in Greek architecture, these female supporting female figures that hold up parts of buildings. You can see in Greek architecture. Clocks like this one, the earliest surviving example of its type, made it possible to enjoy recorded music at home. So something to note, because this is 1625, people could listen to tunes in the home. This would be a very, very fancy home, like a palace. But if you think about it, Edison's phonograph didn't come out till 1877. So to be able to listen to a recorded sound was incredible. The multisensory entertainment of the noble classes, this piece has a clockwork mechanism that plays 3 jaunty original compositions, one of which can be heard in the video that we're about to listen to, on a spinet and an organ. It also sets in motion a cast of Commedia dell'arte. So Commedia dell'arte is a type of Italian theater. These are little figurines that dance around in a circle or spin and jump on the hour. So when I say on the hour, think of like a cuckoo clock. The mirrored panels behind them are positioned to create the illusion of a large ballroom. The trick is simple yet effective. So let's play the video, Rick.
A clock sits on a dark wood cabinet with ornately carved trim. A smaller cabinet sits above the clock. The entire structure is about 1.5 feet wide and 2 feet tall. A gloved hand winds a key, then sets the instrument in motion. The upper cabinet's doors stand open, revealing a balcony with 5 musician figurines that twirl and bob up and down. Mirrors inside the open doors reflect the costume players. Inside the main cabinet, hammers pump up and down. A pleated bellows expands and contracts. A gear turns a barrel drum covered with metal teeth. In front of the cabinet, small doors stand open, revealing a tiny set of organ pipes. Silver sculptures with female heads stand on the corners, like figureheads on ships. Inside, the bellows pumps up and down, moving a lever. The dancing figures wear eye masks, costumes with ruffled collars, and feathered hats. The costumes, dusty and tattered now, still reveal their original pastel colors: pinks, yellows, blues, and greens. Inside, gears turn, translating their motion to other gears. A row of tiny hammers strike a row of wires, which connect to tuning pegs. The dancing figure holds a bell, another a triangle. One holds a ram's horn to his lips. Another tucks a violin under his chin. One figure holds a lute. And winds a key.
Okay, so Rick, if we can pull up the image of the inside of the automaton. I'll just give you a little bit of information about the inside of this musical clock. On screen is an internal component. It's like a music box. So this is what would be the spinet and organ component. The inside is not as fancy pants as the outside, because this would not be able to be seen by people on the outside, right? So it's internal. Inside the ebony case of this musical clock is an extremely rare and important instrument consisting of a 16-note pipe organ and a 16-string spinet that may be played independently of the organ, made by the renowned team of Samuel Biderman and son, who's also named Samuel. The father's L-shaped pinning style appears in this work, as well as Veit Longenbacher. The extraordinary piece includes, in addition to the organ and spinet, a clock and 5 carved and colorfully clad Commedia dell'arte. So this is painted. Okay, so this is not in the image here, but the figures perform the circle dancing, the clock's tower, when the instruments sound to mark the hours. The complex clock, this is not on screen anymore, I'm sorry. This is just the internal bit. But I just want to note that the complex clock is the most musically elaborate automatic instrument to survive from the early 17th century. Its 3 airs, an air's musical composition, are composed by Hans Leo Hosler. They're stored in the original pinned cylinder. So this is the component of the music box. Most cylinders and their tunes were replaced by subsequent generations, but this one, so this is very rare, was spared to provide us with an extremely rare musical document that allows us to hear the airs as they were played in the 17th century. So we have 3 different tunes that we can listen to online. So what you heard are digital renditions of the music box. And then there's a recording that was recorded live at the museum in 2019. So this is the actual mechanical musical instrument. Okay, I love that. It has so much
Cool.
texture. Yeah, very antiquated. And the idea that it survived this huge spans of time is wonderful.
I wonder if I mean, obviously, it's like you said, it's survived a huge span of time. So it makes me wonder what its original sound would have been like if you would still have heard sort of the clunkiness of the movement of the little figurines and the mechanism inside. I imagine you would have. It wouldn't have been like a polished sound,
Right,
given its sophisticated yet simple type of mechanism, right?
right.
Um,
I wonder though, because it's worn now. The
yeah,
way like if you have a brand new rocking chair, it's going to be pretty smooth, but 40 years later, it might be rickety.
yeah. I get
Yeah.
you're right. It depends on how much it's played, but to my mind, I wonder about how much of the mechanism you could hear, uh,
Yeah.
depending
Yeah.
on because this, like you said, this is originally housed at the Met. It's a permanent piece,
That's right. That's right.
and obviously they have recorded the sound so that you're not continuing to play the sound.
No, they probably want to
Preserve.
archive that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the digital renderings to me are like, when you digitally remaster a movie,
Yeah.
so it's played on some kind of modern
Yeah,
instrument that's a replica of um,
exactly. But
it's very cool though.
I love hearing that the wooden sound.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
cool. Where are
Shall
we
we
going
move
next?
on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to France. We're going to a work that's called Musical Automaton Clock. So this work is circa 1777, so a different century. Um, And the movement components can be traced to an artist named Jan Karel Lambrecht. So when I say traced, it's very hard to sometimes distinguish the provenance of these works because they aren't always signed. So sometimes the works might be created in a workshop or in a foundry, but when I do the research on this, it says the movement. So the mechanical components are attributed to Jan Karel Lambrecht, but that doesn't mean every component. So this person is Flemish from Antwerp. This work is metal, it's gilded, it's bronze, copper, silver, glass paste. Glass paste means that there's tiny little, what look like gemstones, but it's actually just pieces of glass and enamel. So this is in the Al Sanai collection. Duke Charles Alexander of Lorraine, which is in France, bought this automaton clock in 1777, collected luxury objects made in his realm that demonstrated local technical advances. This is important, right? Because it's just a sign of wealth. The self-moving components of this timepiece represent the height of Flemish invention in a fashionable neoclassical style. Neoclassicism is an era that drew inspiration from ancient Greece and Rome. Mechanically complex and visually impressive, this sparkling clock was a worthy addition to the Duke's collection of timepieces and scientific instruments. The video that we're going to see demonstrates the movement of the dials for hours, minutes, and seconds, days of the month, and phases of the moon, as well as that of the 7 dynamic design elements, which are line, shape, color, texture, space, value, and form. The cross of Lorraine pendulum swings steadily over the main dial underneath a dancing letter M. Above the calendar dial turns a Catherine wheel, while the 4 dragons supporting the obelisk shape flap their wings and spit pearls. Another Catherine wheel spins above the moon phase dial, and the entire obelisk is topped by a rotating planetarium. The 4th dial shows the maker's signature. We can go ahead and play.
A golden obelisk tower stands with clock faces and moving mechanisms on its 4 sides. On one side, a pendulum features a jeweled cross. It swings in front of a clock with jeweled hands. Above, a silver cherub and a jeweled letter M, which jiggles as it mechanically sweeps from side to side. On another side, a colorful jeweled wheel with 12 spokes rotates. In the center, smaller wheels and a spiral spin dizzily. Below, a clock with a single jeweled hand and numbers up to 31. 4 dragons support the obelisk on their backs. Their metal wings flutter. An occasional pearl drops from a dragon's mouth, landing in a tray and rolling into the base. On another obelisk side, a beaded chain moves along a track. On the 4th side, a clock features a moon with a human face. Above, another Catherine wheel with 8 spokes of spinning jeweled cones. In the center, a silver starburst rotates. Atop the tapering obelisk, a rotating astronomical model. Golden bands surround a central spinning orb. An eagle perches on top, clutching a staff in its talons. And moving.
So the Catherine wheel is, it reminds me of a star shape, but a star with multiple points. Had to look up what a Catherine wheel is. And it looks, when the Catherine wheel is kind of like a wagon wheel, but this looks like it's a star shape, sparkling star shape. This item is very big. It's about 51 inches tall, 15 inches in diameter. The obelisk shape is very similar to Washington Monument. So like a 4-sided obelisk.
And sorry, 51 inches. Can you kind of like unpack that in my brain? A ruler is
Yes.
12 inches. That's 1 foot.
Okay, so 51 inches. If we think about 60 inches, that's 5 feet tall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
it's
about
as
5.5
tall as a rough, like a person. You know, like a
Yeah.
medium-sized person.
Yeah, a medium-sized person, but this is 51 inches, so we're
Yeah.
little inches, a little few inches less than that. Maybe like uh
10-year-old.
chest height. Yeah. A 10 we're looking at it's a 10-year-old height. um
Okay, maybe a 14-year-old.
a
I don't know.
14-year. I don't know. I maybe I don't
It's
know.
taller than I expected because like photos
Exactly.
don't give you any scale because from the scale of the photo, to me it appears like something you would put on top of your
On a
mantle on your
desk.
fire, your like your fireplace mantle. But
That's what I was
it's not at
thinking.
all. Yeah, it's
So
like
I
you have to
looked.
set it on the ground and it reaches as tall as your fireplace mantle kind of thing.
Yes. So I wanted to look up the dimensions on this. And to give you extra context, it's 175 pounds. So
Oh
it's,
wow, okay.
yes, very ornate too. So it makes me think that this is not hollow on the inside.
No.
Maybe a solid chunk of metal.
Yeah, it feels much more sophisticated than the wooden things that we were looking at.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because people would have had to have figured out how to solder and like it's just a different type of whereas wood would have been more wheels and gears and
Mm-hmm.
wood glues and hand cranks and things like that, whereas
Yeah, and
there's
this
got to
is
be some solder in here
it's
and
shiny. There's
electricity.
gemstones. Yeah, very ornate.
Definitely royalty when you look at this.
Definitely royalty.
Yeah.
You're right about that. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. Alrighty. So moving on to our third work, we have automaton clock in the form of Diana on her chariot, circa 1610. This is from South Germany, probably Augsburg. It's ebony bronze gilded. The dials are silver, partially enameled, and the movement components are iron and brass. So, one specialty of Augsburg clockmakers was the combining of timepieces with silver sculpture to create autonomata. Diana, goddess of the moon and hunt, was a popular subject among European nobility because hunting was a privilege and pastime of rulers. The two harnessed leopards drawing the chariot referred to Diana's reputed ability to command wild animals. Automata, which is a self-operating machine, played a role in drinking games at courtyard banquets. The artwork features the chimes sounding the quarter hour. So again, I think like a cuckoo clock or like the way church bells chime. The chariot's operation, the animal's action, and the steady movement of Diana's eyes, they're all generated by one mechanism inside the ebony base. When the contraptions stop, the goddess shoots her arrow. The guest nearest she shoots the guest okay she shoots her arrow at the guest nearest its landing space. Okay, let me rephrase this. What happens is you're meant to play a game. Once the mechanism stops, Diana will shoot her arrow, and it's meant to wherever her arrow goes, the nearest guest to where the arrow lands is meant to drink from their cup. It's supposed to be like a drinking game. All right, shall we play the video?
Diana sits on a golden throne with a clock face atop her dark ebony chariot. Someone removes a winding key, then pushes a switch. The chariot begins to roll. Inside the chariot, gears turn, transferring their motion to neighboring gears, and ultimately to the chariot's golden wheels. A string slowly winds around a drum. The nude Diana, cast in gold, aims a bow and arrow at unseen prey. A golden monkey sits at her bare feet, its legs crossed and head nodding. One jointed arm repeatedly raises a piece of fruit toward its mouth. Perched in back, a golden parrot rocks to and fro. Leading the chariot, a pair of golden leopards with beards and fur-like texture rise and fall, As if bounding, their heads turn from side to side. Silvery chains harness them to the chariot. Though her head is fixed, Diana's brown and white eyes sweep from side to side. Her extended left arm holds the bow. A jointed finger of her right hand holds the bowstring pulled taut. The finger releases the string, launching a small bronze arrow.
So this work reminds me of a toy wind-up car, the way that it works. You wind up a key, and then the chariot moves. And the fact that the arrow is released is making me think of a Jack in the Box. You're sort of waiting, 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 and then once the chariot stops, this arrow is just suddenly released. And then, yes, there's this sort of game, like a banquet game that's being played by these noble people of, oh, the arrow, it landed at me. Now I must drink from my cup.
So, do we have an idea? Again, sorry, can you unpack like the size of this? I'm having a hard time figuring out.
Sure, yes, I've
It's
written
like,
it down.
yeah, a
So
drinking game makes me think that this is rather small, like a tabletop thing.
yeah, it's going to be in a table. I've got 5 inches, like, okay, okay. Think of the like a toy car. Now, the width of it is 5 inches. The length of it is 11.5 inches. And then Diana sits tall on
Right.
this chariot thing, and that is 17.5 inches to the top of her head.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking that's like, I mean, if you're thinking about like the length of it, it's kind of like a shoebox.
Like a shoebox.
Yeah, but it's going to be taller than a shoebox. But if you were to set a shoebox on a table, that's
Yeah,
sort
with
of
the
like
lid open.
the footprint on it a little bit. Yeah,
Sure, yeah. Yes, like that's
because that's a foot.
great reference.
11 and a half inches is a foot long. So
Yeah.
an average, ish, shoebox kind of thing with a pair of maybe high heels in it.
I love
A
it.
skinny shoebox.
Great reference, yeah.
That's so interesting that it would like, wind around a table because, would she go off of a table? Like,
Maybe.
you have to pick her up and like redirect her, and then other people are like, wait a
Exactly. Oh
second,
no. Yeah.
that's not fair. Because I like,
Yeah.
do you want to drink? Do you want her to shoot her arrow at her at you or
Right.
or
Yeah, I
not?
know. Yeah, it's like
Is it supposed to be lucky? Because she's like the goddess of the moon or something, too.
Goddess of the Moon, yeah. The moon and the hunt.
In the hunt, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you do, maybe because that's supposed to be lucky.
Yeah,
Maybe you
exactly.
do
Yeah.
want her to shoot
Yeah.
her arrow in your direction.
She has these animatronic eyes too, which is kind of
So they blink?
creepy. They blink. Yeah, they blink and they move back and forth in this peering way that is, I mean, to me it looks eerie.
Right.
Yeah. Um, but this is also very ornate. A lot of gold and a lot of silver. And I mean, I think it would have been, I would say it's probably fascinating to watch this move and exciting,
So I
right?
imagine we're at some kind of like hosted party in some palatial mansion of the time, hosted by nobility, and you've just finished your meal that has been served by the help, right? And traditionally maybe you would go smoke cigars in some cigar room. But before that is
This is 1610. Yeah,
and yeah, of course. And there would be no women allowed,
right.
right? And all the nobility chaps or whatever, like, or maybe this is something that happens at ceremony, like an arranged marriage, or I don't know. Like, it's hard to picture like the context of when you would use this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, a
1610 would have
court,
been
it, a Courtly banquet
Yeah.
is what is described.
I'm trying to think of like movies that would have been set in 1610 for reference, you know?
Right.
Like cuz Shakespeare was 1700, right? No. Yeah.
Six,
Why don't I remember that? Somebody's got to
1650s.
Yeah. So, you know, we're roughly within the same. That's is that Elizabeth the
1650. He died in
Okay.
1616. We're off.
Yeah.
Okay, we were close. So frilly collars.
Frilly collars. That's right. When I did a
This is
play,
like Renaissance time.
yeah, when I did a play that was of the Shakespeare day,
Yeah.
our frilly collars were made out of coffee filters
Oh, wow.
for the play, and they actually looked really good. If you
Oh, I
stack
love it.
them up,
I love it.
and you like spread them out, they look like a
Mm.
frilly collar. It was really cool. Yeah. Very ingenious, I would say. Tip my hat to the costume designer who made our frilly
Totally.
collars out of coffee filters.
Totally.
Very budget friendly.
Yes. Not the noble class.
The community theater. Yeah. Not God, but community theater. Cool. Okay. I will say that I find in particular, like, kudos to the Met for trying to describe these things, but I do find them to be a little bit hard on the brain, um, because it's not my wheelhouse to try and figure out like the mechanics. It's like a puzzle to me. It's not where my brain typically goes. So I'm trying to hang in there with these. So thank you for being our guide, because I think they offer this as description because these types of artifacts are important historically.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a challenge to describe them. So it's helpful to have somebody to like walk through it and give context of time period and those kinds of things. So I'll be curious if folks have questions about some of these pieces once we're through them. And it's also a reason why we didn't, describe like 10 pieces. But we'll send the link out afterwards in the follow-up, so that if folks want to explore the website further, they can do that. So like, where are we going to go next?
Yeah. Well, I'm here to just give a little bit of context about what's going on, but yeah, I don't know how much is coming through because they're so complex, all of these small little parts, but we can try and unpack a little bit.
Well,
So
maybe we can save
next,
some of that for the Q&A because there might
sure.
be some questions that come up.
Yeah, sure. So next we have fountain. So we're headed to Austria. So this is from the third quarter of the 16th century. So this is, again, just generalized, and that's because trying to track down exact dates on these works is a little bit difficult. It's long ago, and not everything is dated the way that an artist might just write their name and date, right? The way that we do now. And again, because this is made by craftspeople and sometimes in workshops, and it wasn't about who makes it. It's more about, displaying fancy stuff. It isn't about who did it. It's about who has it. So this is Austrian, possibly from Innsbruck. It's bronze, engraved, chiseled, iron, copper, natural, and dark artificial patina. So this is from the Castello Buonconsiglio collection. It's in the Trento province of Italy. Bearing the coat of arms of the powerful Modruzzo family of Trento, which is on the base, this fountain was used to impress guests during courtly festivities. I'll just give you a little bit of context here. The Modruzzo family was a powerful and noble episcopal family, and they ruled the episcopal principality of Trento for over a century with 4 prince bishops. So portable despite its size. So this one is almost 5 feet. It's 57 inches tall, 11.5 inches wide, and it's 66 pounds. So heads up, we can revisit that. So portable despite its size, maybe because it's only 66 pounds. What's that? The size of a Labrador? It likely spurted wine or water in either a garden or banquet hall. At the top stands the hunter Actaeon, midway through his transformation into a stag at the hands of the goddess Diana. Hello, Diana. Welcome again. The story of which is recounted in Ovid's Metamorphoses. So that's a long Latin narrative poem. It's based on Greek mythology. Pipes inside the bronze column would have provided liquid to the various spigots from a source hidden higher up, ingeniously employing gravity rather than a mechanical pump. Interesting. This animation recreates the sprays the fountain would have produced to delight and surprise noble passers-by. The jet's exaggerated thinness and asymmetry created by the placement of the spigots are characteristic of the late 16th century Mannerist style. So for context, Mannerist style is it bridged between the Renaissance and Baroque era. All right. Shall we check out the video?
A metal fountain consists of a tall column on a wood base. Several tiers along the column have features with spouts. On the lowermost tier, 4 young girls stand around a pedestal, each holding a broom. Liquid flows from the broom handles. Continuing up the column, 4 lions' heads spew liquid from their mouths. Further up, a ring of monkeys with long curling tails spit liquid. Moving higher, a smaller ring of creatures, and above them, more flowing spouts. At the top, 4 streams flow from a rounded finial. Standing on the finial, a man with stag's horns holds the topmost spout. In all, liquid flows from 26 spouts along the towering fountain.
So this one is significantly less ornate. It's one block of color. It's just this dark matte-ish gray uniform color. And the thing that I think about with this fountain, kind of a standard looking fountain, it is interesting that it's made with, it employs gravity versus a mechanical pump. So that's what makes it interesting in terms of the way the mechanics work. It makes me think of like a champagne fountain at a wedding, or like you could just dip a glass in it, or the way that a chocolate fountain might work. It's just got this overflowing water coming out of it. It's symmetrical and rounded all the way around. So everything is very, symmetrical. But again, so 60 feet or 57 inches.
Yep.
So just nearly 5 feet, just short of 5 feet.
Yep. And about
Yeah.
66 pounds.
66 pounds. Yeah.
The fountain. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
And
it's like, why would you need it to be portable?
I don't know. So you could, sorry, there's a car going by. So you can show up at your friend's castle or, their courtyard and say, hey, look at me.
Looky what I got.
Look what I brought to the party. Hey, dip
So,
your glass in.
I mean, sometimes this makes me wonder about whether the owner that has it, like whoever's in possession of it, did they commission it? Was it gifted to them? Because it ends up in the hands of royalty, right? Like, how does it get there? What does the maker,
Well, it has a coat of arms on it from this very noble family. So I suppose they commissioned it.
probably commissioned it?
Yeah.
Again, why does it need to be portable? It's got your coat of arms. But maybe, like, I don't know, maybe you take it to battles with you as an omen. I don't know. A
Very
mascot. I
interesting.
don't know.
Yeah.
Those are
Why-
the kinds of history things that, like, are question marks in my brain.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be somewhere documented, but it's nice to let your brain go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
only the
maybe.
Met would know, and if they knew, they'd be telling us.
I mean, I would imagine they also had some very enormous, not portable fountains.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. So to have something small, some of these things that we're looking at, these marvels, are like trinkets and yeah, with these moving parts. So the thing that stood out here to me is that it has um, these, there's pipes inside this bronze column and it has multiple spigots, right? So it employs gravity. Gravity is what makes it work. So there's some sort of continuous mechanism and it doesn't use a pump. So perhaps it's not connected to any sort of water source. So the idea that it is portable is the thing that makes it fancy, that you can have a movable fountain that isn't connected to a waterway.
Yeah, and that's what
You-
makes it the marvel that it
yeah,
that it
and
is.
that's why when we also see the chocolate fountain that we can dip our strawberries in, we go, ooh.
Yes. And
Because-
maybe, one of the other things that might be necessary because it's portable is that maybe it just can't withstand the weather.
ah,
And there are certain times of the year where you just have to bring it inside because it's
sure.
delicate.
Or maybe also it lives inside, and that's also what's exciting about it. It's not an outside fountain.
It's an inside fountain.
It's an inside. People who are very fancy have inside fountains.
Rich people have inside things because nobody's ever seen those things before.
Mm. Or fountains are meant to be outside, so if you have one inside, it makes you really special. Like having trees inside.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We're just solving the world problems right here. Right. We're historians. You figure this out. Okay. We're going somewhere next. I know it.
We sure are. We're going to The Draftsman's Daughter
Okay.
by Henri Mayer-Day, who is Swiss. So circa 1800. This one is mind-boggling. When we talk about computers, this is it. So brass, steel, wood, fiber. This is part of the collection of the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. Androids capable of writing and drawing, which embodied Enlightenment ideas about links between mechanical and human action, continue to inspire poets, artists, and engineers to this day. This creation became the basis for Brian Selznick's novel, The Invention of Hugo Cabret, 2007, which Martin Scorsese adapted into the award-winning film Hugo, 2011. Long a mystery, the android's maker was revealed during restoration in the 20th century. When the clockwork motor is set in motion, the figure signs his drawing, The Automaton of Mayer-Day. Mayer-Day hid the mechanics of his lifelike draftsman's daughter, a seamless blend of art and science, in a cabinet rather than in the figure. This allowed for larger machinery and greater memory than in earlier efforts. An unprecedented 3 poems and 4 drawings are translated by the action of the figure through a technology that foretold the computer. So there is this doll-like figurine that it's like an upper torso figurine and it's holding a pen and it's drawing and making this calligraphy poem stuff. And underneath the way that they say a cabinet, this is what holds all of the mechanical bits. So that's what's making everything in motion. Those are the kinetic aspects there. And let's check out the video.
A sculpted hand holds a pen.
The automaton at the Franklin Institute was built 200 years ago.
Bands and straps suggest a torso and arms.
Normally we think of robots as moving in very mechanical ways, very jerky motions. This machine far and away is the most elegant in its movement. The automaton is able to create its drawings by reading the surface of these brass discs.
Dozens of rotating discs bear uniquely patterned edges.
The discs have hills and valleys on their surface, and these 3 followers ride up and down in those hills and valleys.
3 rods in the automaton's torso make slight movements.
They translate that movement to movements of levers that go up the back of the machine and out to the shoulder in the drawing hand.
Rods in the arm guide it forward and back, and from side to side. The figure writes a message, which begins, Enfant chéri de dame.
Its repertoire includes 4 very detailed drawings and 3 poems, 2 in French and 1 in English.
A painted head sits atop the torso, its features suggesting a boy with pink-tinged lips and cheeks.
It has the most extensive mechanical memory of any known automaton.
The machine creates a drawing. A tall gazebo flanked by trees. The arm traces up and down the sheet to draw a column. It retraces the path with a slight wiggle, embellishing the columns. The automaton's head rises and looks at us with big blue eyes.
All right. So this is a drawing machine. Remember how you were talking about puppets? This has a puppet sense about it, and it reminds me of a marionette puppet, but it's driven by a machine. There's some sort of system inside that cabinet. It has a doll-like face. The way that it's drawing makes me think of Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's mechanical. It's very geometric, and the way that Etch-a-Sketch works is also has a mechanical sense to it. But the text, when it makes poems, is not geometric at all. It's amazing. It looks like professional calligraphy. There's lots of flourishes and these beautiful organic fine lines. Yeah. So I can see why, poets and artists and engineers are still very inspired by this.
Yeah.
Very impressive for 1800.
And I don't, I don't know, the doll seems very feminine to me, but it probably isn't considering the time period.
Right.
From what I can make out, has some kind of it almost looks like it's a harness, straps along the torso, and I'm assuming that's part of the machinery of it.
Yes.
I can't tell.
Yeah. It's kind of it looks like a combination of robot, animatronic, partial humanoid, mixture of mechanical parts and also human parts. The hands are human. It has a shoulder that is human, but then one side of it is made of metal, and then there are these straps. They seem like leather straps that are going across the torso, and maybe also what seem like metal straps. There's something that looks.
It's like you got a doll and it's missing an arm, but you don't have an arm. So what can you make that looks like an arm?
Yeah, like Toy Story.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Because you're like MacGyvering, you're manufacturing this thing, so it's got a shape like a human body, but it's like, well, I don't have something that looks like an arm, but this piece of metal I can manipulate.
Now that you point that out, that's really interesting because there's so many components and this is so finely manufactured. It's such an interesting choice in terms of artistry because the doll's face is so finely painted. These moments of calligraphy are so fine. The amount of craftsmanship that goes into this, the components, it would take a very long time to make this. Why would they not make a more finished looking piece? It seems like an aesthetic decision to make it appear unfinished, unless we're seeing something that's, 100 yeah, exactly 225 years later, that's maybe It
Oh,
might just be missing pieces.
that's interesting. Like
Yeah.
like over time,
Yeah.
you know,
Maybe it
like
just fell apart.
it fell apart and they're like, okay, so we don't have a head that looks mechanical, but we can put a doll's head on it.
Yeah.
So it
I
has a
mean,
head.
no, or maybe the doll's head is original and just parts of its, maybe it was supposed to be wearing
So
clothes.
interesting. Either that or it's like, it was so um again, mechanical is the only word, like industrial looking, machine metal, that kind of look, that
Yeah.
to distract from that harsh look, it's like, look at the beautiful face, look at the beautiful hands, and
Yeah.
ignore the mechanism that makes it tick,
Oh, I like that. Interesting.
because that would be an artist's choice,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to show you the inside of how I tick, but I'm
Yeah.
actually really beautiful.
But in 1800, artists weren't really making those like
I know
abominable
those were risky
choices.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That doesn't happen until much later.
yeah.
Typically, yeah.
Oh, it's totally true. Like
Yeah.
in order to know that, you'd have to like look into the artist and do a deep dive into like who was making big decisions then, and like who influenced who and what came after and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which would be if we chose one piece tonight and just
Right.
did a deep dive into one piece.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm very drawn to this one because there is some kind of beauty in it that is maybe it's the humanness or um I don't know. The other ones seem like these ornate, I'm gonna show off my wealth. And this one, there's something that really draws me into it that is poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Pinocchio. This
This
is
is Pinocchio. There's something anthropomorphic about it. I mean, it is a human figure,
yeah.
but there's it
I'm gonna be a
has
real boy.
soul.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like I mean there's so many analogies, right? It's like I think about the movie Indiana Jones when they
Mm,
go in to find the Holy Grail, the cup. If anybody's seen this movie, it may
yes.
not have audio description, but Indiana Jones goes in to choose from a whole bunch of cups, as to which one would be the cup of Christ.
I love this,
Yep.
Amy.
And there's a whole bunch of them that are fancy and jeweled and made of gold and all of that, like, right? And there must be 100 cups. And there's this one that is like carved out of wood and clay and ugly. It's the ugly duckling. And
Yeah.
of course, Indiana Jones is smart. He's an archaeologist and he knows that, Christ was a carpenter. Christ is not a wealthy person. He's not going to have a cup of bejeweled stuff, right? So this is like all of these pieces we've looked at tonight are like wealthy, bejeweled, blah 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 blah. And here's the like raw, you know
Yes.
what I mean? It's like
Yes.
it's like the poor cobbler on the corner who's got this artistry thing and he's like, I just want to see if I can do this. And
Yeah.
ta-da, here's what I've done. But I don't have gold and I don't have tools and I don't have jewels and I'm just doing this for me.
Yeah.
This is my analogy tonight.
Great analogy, but also I love Indiana Jones. That's the one with Sean Connery.
I know it is. It's my favorite of the. I was going to say the three, but then there's like five now. But to
No,
me,
no,
always
only the original three. No.
always be three. There you go. Yeah, this is probably my favorite because for me it sparks the most conversation, and
Yeah.
if I can't have conversation around art, for me it's sort of, I don't want to say it's not worth it, but because my eyes miss so many details, it's the
Mhm.
conversation for me that's more the interesting thing than the looking at it, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, the conversation is like the connection between the art and the humans, and at least that's how I perceive visual art.
Yeah. Who,
And
what,
for me,
why, where, when, how,
yeah,
and like, how does it make you feel? What does it make you think of? You just connected to Indiana Jones and we made that connection together and I
right,
love it.
right. And two other people would make a different connection. Three other people
Yes.
make a different connection, and
Yeah. But now I'm thinking about my childhood and now we're all just like in
that's
some strange
nostalgic.
headspace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Might have to
Yeah.
go find that and play it while I'm packing my my suitcase tonight.
Oh,
The
great.
background. There you go.
Great.
Okay, we only have one left, I think.
We do just have one left, and we
All
can
right.
just
Let's do it.
just a little ditty here. So this one is also actually not ornate, so surprise. Automaton in the form of a monk. This is possibly the work of an artist named Juanello Turiano. This is an older work, circa 1550. So.
Wow.
Hardwood, stained beech or poplar, traces of enamel, leather, metals, and paint. It's in the Smithsonian National Museum of American History collection in DC, Washington, DC. So, though its origins are shrouded in mystery, one legend proposes that this marvel was made after a relic of the Franciscan brother Diego of Alcala. After this Franciscan brother miraculously cured the young Spanish prince Don Carlos. Sorry, excuse my mumbling. So a Franciscan brother, Diego de Alcala, miraculously cured a young Spanish prince, Don Carlos. The prince's brother, Philip II, vowed a miracle for a miracle and commissioned this automaton representing the monk, who was canonized as a saint. So, Saint Diego. We know San Diego, which is the namesake of the California city. The king's comparison of clockwork to a miracle references the contest between human clockmakers and the divine, a popular concept in the Renaissance. Sensitively carved and painted in human likeness, this monk figure walks slowly and steadily. He beats his chest in penitence and regularly lifts his hand towards his lips. So when we check out the video, there's a first chunk of the video where the monk is not wearing a robe, and then we'll move to the second bit of the video where the monk is wearing a robe. So what I've come to understand after doing a little bit of a deep dive is that I think in the exhibition, the original exhibition, the monk that they have in the collection is robeless, but there exists an older video where just as an archive piece, when the monk once had the original robe and now no longer does. And it's also theorized that this monk used to have a rosary with a cross that it brings its hands up to his mouth and is meant to be kissing a cross. So in this video, it begins with a sort of monk or robeless monk, and then moves to a robe monk, and also is supposed to be kissing a cross. But let's go for it and see what we can get from it.
Someone turns a key. A wooden figure of a monk begins to move. The realistically carved bald head features a distant, serene expression. The head angles up, gazing heavenward, then back to neutral. It smoothly turns to the left, then up again, completing a cycle of repeating motion. As the head moves, a hinged jaw opens and closes, the lips snapping together. A thick layer of varnish on the head bears long cracks. The monk's arms are jointed right above his bent elbows. His left hand rises and falls in front of him. His right arm jerks repeatedly toward his chest. Most of his body is a featureless wooden bell shape. A closer view reveals a textured finish suggesting the woven fabric of a long robe. The sides of the robe are open, offering access to the moving mechanisms inside. A pair of levers attached to wires or chains move up and down. One moves smoothly, like the motion of the monk's head. The other jerks, resembling the motion of the monk's jaw. Two sandaled feet poke out through a notch at the bottom. They pedal up and down, as if walking. Wheels under the robe propel the monk across a table. A peg comes down to the table, lifting one wheel up, which enables the monk to turn. In grainy footage, the monk now wears a dark fabric robe with a knotted rope belt at the waist. A cowl hood covers his shoulders. His left hand now holds the cross of a beaded rosary. The arm raises the cross to his lips, which continue to open and close. The monk rolls across the surface, beating his chest, holding the cross, and moving his lips wordlessly. He turns toward us.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
there's two parts of that video. Yeah. So one part where it's wooden, only wood monk, and then one part with robe and cross, which I believe are no longer with the actual object any longer. It's just archive footage.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think I recall learning about the phrase "saved by the bell"
Okay.
and how it was related to monks.
Oh.
I hope I'm getting this right. But like first related to monks, and how like centuries ago, just in case somebody was buried and they weren't actually dead, there was a string that ran down to where somebody was buried, and they could ring a bell.
Wow.
If they woke up like in a grave, you could ring a bell.
Wild.
Yeah. And so like I think that kind of maybe carried on to other, other people that were, being buried, like just in case.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, well, how do you like not know that somebody's dead? But I suppose, in times where, I don't know, maybe somebody was in a coma, or like, I don't know, narcolepsy, whatever. There are some conditions where people's hearts actually stop beating, but they're not dead. They just go, their heart rate goes so low that they appear dead, but they're not. I saw some great documentary about it, which was really fascinating, but terrifying. Like people have woken up in the morgue, like
Wow.
terrifying.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
horrifying.
Somebody once, I think in this documentary, if I'm remembering it correctly, somebody had tattooed on their chest, like, I'm not dead. I have whatever it's called. Like,
Yeah, narcolepsy.
please, it's not narcolepsy. It's
Oh.
some very rare thing. Because with narcolepsy, your
Interesting.
breathing rate is still the same.
Oh, wow.
But your breathing rate goes so low with this condition that it,
Oh.
that it doesn't, your heartbeat doesn't register. So it's extremely rare. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I would definitely have like a tattoo on my chest, so that if I was ever in the morgue and they start, don't cut here just yet, just wait a week or something, I might wake up.
Wow.
It's grim, but yeah, it's a real thing. So Saved by the Bell, when you didn't know what you didn't know, because it's not like, we woke up in this type of condition, just found its way to our doorstep. These things have been around forever. We just didn't know what to call them.
Wow.
So yeah.
And is it the fact that this monk had cured this prince that's making you think of this?
I don't know. I just, my brain goes to strange places when I
love it.
Connect dots to things.
I love it.
It's it's likely just because I don't have, like, I have random facts. I'm a random facts person.
I love it, Amy.
So it's just how I can contribute to conversation, because I don't know enough about the subject matter.
I love it. Well, he also has this like bell-like shape, and he's doing this penitence thing where he's like beating his chest. It's just, I love all these connections.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's a thing. I also think there's like in modern day today that you can I did see this on another show, like a modern show, that you can become a monk, like in ceremonially a monk, like I don't know how to phrase that. It's like having an honorary doctorate.
Oh, like online?
No, you can go
Oh.
you can go through a process in I saw it in the context of Vietnam. So the
Oh.
Vietnamese monks. And so this was just like a white man that was married to a Vietnamese woman and he wanted to go through the process. So he did the like 30-day fast and like the walk in bare feet and he wore the traditional outfit. And at the end of these, he had to recite prayers in traditional language and all that kind of stuff. So he had to pass all these different rituals, and then he was honored with monk status. So I don't know what that allows him to do, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't think that he can hold ceremony or anything, but he's,
Yeah.
I guess, an honorary monk. Yeah,
Wow.
he had to shave his head. He had to do all the things that monks have to do.
Wow.
Like air quotes pass the monk test. I don't know, air quotes pass the monk test.
Okay. I love it.
But
Yeah.
traditional monks, of course, are leading this like life of poverty their whole lives, right? So here comes this white guy, and he's going to pass the monk test for 30 days,
Mhm.
but he doesn't live the lifestyle. It's like a novelty, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, right? I went to Vietnam for 30 days and decided that I was going to be a monk, and now I'm going to go home and eat a cheeseburger.
Maybe he didn't need a cheeseburger. Maybe he was really committed.
Went back to the USA with his wife.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, there you go. This has been really interesting and a little complicated, but I'm curious if there are friends online who want to ask questions, because I know that Emily's got some other information that she can share. But if folks have questions,
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
well, we'll see. Or
Yeah.
interpretations,
Interpretations. Great.
comments. We'd love to learn and hear and enjoy if anybody who's got those. I'm gonna just put up my participants list to see if there are any hands that come up. If you can't access the hands, just like unmute yourself and say, hi, this is so and so, I have a question. Look, see, there's Megan's got a hand already. Come on in, Megan. I'll give you a moment to magically unmute.
Okay. When you said something with the drawing machine, I realized I had this marker. I thought, okay, and so with a real person, when you said human and a human machine,
Yeah.
remind me of doing this. Like when you hear the machine, you don't hear the pen going. You don't hear the pen actually going.
No.
No, you just hear it when you're drawing here. Can you hear it?
Yeah, you're so. Oh, I hear it. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Is
Oh,
that a
you can?
pencil?
You can hear it?
I heard a little bit.
I'm drawing with my own hand. See?
Right.
See? See what I mean? I was doing that.
Yeah.
It was kind of neat. So I was wondering, so it's like that, but more my machine. It's kind of neat. I'm wondering for let's see, what year was the Diane on her chariot made?
Let's double check Diana and her chariot. 1610. So one of the older ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what year? So if it's what year was what's the draftsman's daughter? That one.
The draftsman's, yeah. That one's 1800, so quite a bit later, and it seems a lot more technically complex. Although the Diana one on her chariot is also very complex, a lot of moving parts, the way the car moves and there's a key and the bow and arrow.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. That's so cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so what part of Germany? So I know the first one was Augsburg, Germany. But what about let's see, what part of Germany was Diane in on her chariot? What part of Germany was it? Northern Germany?
Also Augsburg, which is like a part of Bavaria, as far as I know. But it was very well known for, here, I'll look it up. We can just do some research together. Um, very well known for these types of clock makers. Um, so there would have been workshops and foundries specifically that were making all of these moving
Yeah.
parts. So you would have different workshops and foundries that would then be making the different components and then come together so that these
Mhm.
craftsmen could make these very fancy clocks. That's why we heard a few of them that
I
were
love the
manufactured there. Yeah. So let's see where,
Oh.
yeah. Augsburg is an ancient German city in Bavaria. So, right,
Ooh,
Bavaria,
okay.
west of Munich, if that's helpful.
Munich. Okay.
Yeah, ancient city.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So the automaton in the form of a monk, was that made in Italy or in Austria? No, in Switzerland was it? Or
It's so I actually don't know if I mentioned this while I was talking about it. Uh, when I talked about the artist, when I said it was like possibly made by this artist named Juanella Torriano, and then I talked possibly circa 1550, and it's hard to like pull what the provenance is because people have a really hard time doing this research. And I don't mean me, I mean when I pull up the research. So when we look at the way it's documented in the Met's exhibition resource, it says probably Spanish. Like
oh,
that's how hard it is to actually pinpoint because none of it is actually signed or anything like that.
no way. Wow.
Yeah. Probably Spanish is what we get.
There's a guy that was in French, not Henri Maillardet, but there was Henri. You mentioned Henri in it.
Henri, yeah.
Henri, what was his last name?
It sounds like Myla Ray. Okay, let me just read it from it. Versus just pulling it offhand here. So this is for the Duke of Lorraine, was that one. Better if I just read my note. Duke of Lorraine, let's find that one. Wasn't it? Henri, sorry, just one little moment here.
Oh, Henri
Oh,
Maillardet.
yes, Maillardet. Actually, that was not for the Duke of. Oh, this is the draftsman's daughter. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, Henri Maillardet. Yeah, actually Swiss. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. That is so neat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for your questions.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Megan.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I think I got a little mixed up there. Yeah, that the draftsman's daughter was one of the inspirations for one of Martin Scorsese's films. That's how like inspiring this work has been for lots of people. It's so interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah, totally.
Well, art inspires art, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah,
I'm making that up. I could be making that up.
I believed you.
All
We
of these
brought out
phrases, I need to make a t-shirt.
art inspires art.
Art inspires art.
Amyisms.
Amyisms. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just publish a book
Yeah.
called Amyisms. And, maybe it'll be my retirement plan.
Great.
Wouldn't that be the thing?
Yeah. That and collaborative public artworks.
Oh, I'm so jazzed about that. I
Me
really am. That could be super fun.
I think so. I'm really in.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I will say that that is something that people get paid to do. So, wink, wink, nudge, nudge to folks in the community who would want to contribute to that, you know.
Yeah, totally. I'm in. Yeah, I actually did
Hey.
talk to the city of Vancouver about making more accessible signage for
Mhm.
public art. Like, how do people even find it or know what's going on?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know. Yeah. All
Um,
right.
well, this has been great. My brain is a little full.
Yeah.
Amy, hello.
Yes, Nancy, come
Hello.
on in.
Can I ask a question? Okay, I couldn't get out of my unmute. You know that when you said it was 170 pounds, what was that object?
Okay, the 175-pound one was the obelisk.
And what is
And
that? A sculpture or?
yeah, it's a sculpture and a clock. This is one of the very ornate ones. So it has a ton of gold, which makes me think because it's so heavy, it must be a solid chunk of metal, maybe gold plated, but actual just bronze. So obelisk shaped like the Washington Monument. So four-sided and then just long cylindrical coming to a point at the top. It has this planetary, movable planets on top with a big eagle sculpture bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then a lot of little gemstones, but gemstones made out of glass, but it still looks fancy, fancy gems. And some of the gems are clear, some of them are ruby colored, and these movable, what look like stars with many points. So I didn't count the points, but it looks like stars with like 8 or 9 or 10 points. They called them Catherine wheels.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
When I looked
Nice.
up what Catherine wheels were, it looked like a wagon wheel to me, but
Like
they
around, yeah,
call it a
yeah, right.
Catherine wheel. And then when I went into what a Catherine wheel was, it was some kind of medieval torture device. So I didn't go too much into that. But
No, that's good because I can picture it, but I just couldn't picture
mm,
wow, 175 pounds. Wow, a
this
lot of
thing,
sculpture in that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's interesting. Thank you. And talking about the monk, you guys were talking at the end. There's
yeah.
a funny story. I went to Vietnam for a month, and then I
Ah,
headed to Laos. But as I was on a long bus tour, and it was a sleeper bus. And as I was sleeping, the curtains were yellow. So the person that went up top above me, it was like a double decker sleeper bus. Anyways, it kept his whatever was it, the curtain was always in my face. Like I wanted to shut the curtain because the sun was in my eye. So I kept pulling and pulling. My boyfriend was right across. Nancy, stop, stop. I go. He goes, you know what you're doing? I go, no. I go, as the guy turned out, it was a monk guy with his long orange gown. It was
oh,
draping over and I thought it was a curtain, so I kept pushing it, pushing it. And he goes, he doesn't wear underwear. I go, what are you talking about?
oh
And the
my
guy, and then
gosh.
as he got off the bus, he wouldn't even look at us. And I go, oh my God, I was so embarrassed.
Oh
But then when I
no.
went to Laos, there was 500 people. All the monks were at
Oh.
5 o'clock in the morning to get fed. So we all go to the ceremony. Oh my God, it was unbelievable. People were getting paid and getting fed, but we had to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the ceremony. It was unbelievable. I've never seen so many. I don't even know what a monk was
Yeah.
until wow.
Wow,
But I
what
was
an
embarrassed already, so I didn't want to. I'd give a
well,
dollar, $10 just to keep myself quiet.
oh no.
You have an underwear on?
Like
No,
try
but
to hide, pretend it wasn't you, but
I
it's
know.
so
But
funny.
the thing is, I thought it was a curtain the whole time. It was the guy's outfit.
Oh my gosh.
It was
Wow, what an experience though.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
so embarrassed. But now I know what a monk was. When you talked about it today, I go, how can that rock be a monk when you put an object on it? They're hiding themselves. They don't want to be noticeable,
Yeah. Wow,
but they
thanks
do
for
want
the
money.
story. What a great story.
Yeah, so thank you. It was interesting. Oh, and the object with the one with the missing hand. So,
Yeah.
when Amy said she liked to tell us what it's all about, I like to feel things to make sure I know what I'm touching. Because my way of learning things, right?
Mm,
Like I don't like people demonstrating, but I just like touching things to say, oh, is that what it feels like?
yeah,
I,
that makes sense.
it makes like I feel like because I don't know what you're talking about. I like to feel it if I can, like
Yeah.
you know. I know people like to describe what they're doing, and it's good, but it's just like what the
It's too
material
bad
feels like.
because in most museums you can't touch
I
things,
know
I
that's what I said.
especially like
Vietnam,
the
you can't touch
stuff
anything.
is hundreds of years old, right? So the best we can do is try and describe stuff. Although I will share with you after we finish this episode a really interesting project that I'm working on, but I can't share it when other people can be listening
Well,
outside of this room because it's top secret at the moment. But
well, when I
Top
was in Egypt, I
secret.
wanted to feel the pyramids and I wanted to feel the, those mummies that they were buried into, all those stones and everything else. But I just wanted to feel what are they talking about? Like, how do they wrap them up? And the guy
Oh,
looks at me and goes,
yeah,
"Well, I'm blind. I just want to touch
of
it." He touched
course.
that
the
would be
cave.
an easy thing to replicate.
What's
Oh,
that?
You know
yeah.
how you wrap a mummy? That would be easy to
Well,
replicate the
I
technique.
know, but I just want to feel the material. Like, it's a
if it's
cloth or it's 1,000 years old, and we had to go down to the cave, and
Yeah.
I was scared going down. But once I got down there, I wanted to, where are the gold? Is it real, or like, am I
Yeah.
just sitting
wow.
here? I'm in
Yeah.
Egypt.
If it's helpful, the one with the hands, it actually had two hands. The doll-like one, is that what you're
Mhm.
talking about?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like
The
porcelain.
way that the doll is constructed and the sort of texture of the face and the hands, if you ever held and felt, I've kind of played around with my mom. I'm 38. My mom is 67. She kept some of her dolls from when she was a kid.
Oh
I mean,
wow.
I think it's made of wood, but it has some kind of like enamelly, like it just has this like look of her dolls and it has those blinky looking eyes from the 50s.
Like
It
the
looks,
porcelain dolls.
yes, that's
I know.
the type of doll-like figure, those kind of hands and just that texture. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, like my girlfriend, I had for 25 years. She came to visit me, and she gave Chantel a porcelain doll. So as I was cleaning the house, I found this box. I opened it up, and oh my God, my girlfriend came just in time from Italy, and I got to show off the doll. He goes, "Oh my God, it's got the bracelet and the year of the whatever, how old is it?" So I gave it to my granddaughter the same day that they were there. He goes, "Ew, she looks like a monkey."
Oh,
I don't know what she said, and I go, "Oh my God, Alaya, that's Asian, like that's what they used to, porcelain dolls." And she said, "Oh,
yeah.
it's scary. I don't like it." I go, "Oh my God."
Oh,
I was so embarrassed, but I thought, it's Chantel doll, your mom's doll. It's a velvet dress on, the
oh
toque on the head,
yeah.
and the way in Italy was, oh my God, laces. And they don't, I don't know. She's only 3, so
She might learn to appreciate it when she's a little
I
bit.
know. But the way the feeling was, it's just perfect. Like, that feeling that you said,
Yeah.
it's so Asian. It's just like, oh my God, why
It's
don't, things
quality.
last long?
It's so
Ah,
quality, and
Yep.
everything today is made of plastic.
Thank you. Plastic, and I don't like it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you very
and
much.
smells like something you're supposed to eat.
Yeah, yeah,
Bubble
that's right.
gum or
That's how I could
something.
Oh,
describe it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, friends, I
So
think. Oh, did I
I
hear?
just wanted to
Come
throw in
on in,
my
Rita.
two
Yeah.
cents worth. This was really fascinating, and I really love the one. I mean, these automata were really interesting. Like the way that people dealt with them, and some people collected them and stuff like that. You sort of hear about it in books, but it reminded me a little bit of today's music boxes. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Hmm.
it's a mechanism that's going to play some music.
yes.
And also, they had these player pianos. I don't know, those were that you could with like a piano, but it had like some mechanism inside it that would play a bunch of different tunes in it on the piano. So these are all the similar type of things, and it just was making me think about it, and I'd really love to see more of those things anyway.
Yeah,
So
Rita, you could not be more spot on because in that first piece that we went into,
uh-huh.
the automaton clock with spinet and organ,
Yeah.
you're like spot on with that because inside there's a spinning mechanism in the shape of a barrel, like
Mhm.
a cylindrical barrel, and it has little
Right.
pins on it. And that's exactly what a music box is. That spinning wheel has pins, and then it
Mhm.
hits little tines, like a fork tines.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it works just like that. That's, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Spot on. Yeah, I love music boxes.
Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
And that's the one that we listened to with the 3 different musical pieces?
Yes. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, and we listened to the one that was actually recorded inside the museum, and that texture was so beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Rita.
All
Yeah.
right.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
even think about the player pianos
Player
and
pianos,
how
exactly.
fascinating those were to listen to, some kind of classical piano music. Like when they used to have them set up in malls and stuff, and there's like, wait, there's nobody at the piano.
There is
How
a
are they
mechanism
doing the
turning
thing? Yeah,
inside.
of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're so cool, aren't they?
Yeah.
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 What
They
happened to player pianos? Where are they?
they're you know what's funny? They're everywhere, but they turn them off.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Because people were like I know this in a mall context because of my relationship to shopping centers. That's a whole other story. But my family history and relationship to shopping centers.
Oh, I thought you meant your bank account.
No, no. I'm not a shopaholic.
Okay.
But my father's been in mall management and mall development for
Oh, wow.
year. So I know a lot of like leasing stuff and all sorts of weird random history and stuff about malls.
Okay.
So they used to be in like center courts in malls.
Oh.
And they used to hire somebody to play at certain times of day, like historically, and then they had many pianos come with a player piano function in it, and you just have to turn it on, or if you turn it off, it's a typical piano that you can play. And people would complain
Oh,
about
really?
the
Oh.
noise.
Oh, weird.
So it became
Boo.
like a noise complaint.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
it was just like they stopped turning them on, and then
Oh.
it's just like a decoration to have a piano. And then when it
Oh.
wasn't turned on, people would sit and play them.
Mm.
Right.
And then it turned into a piano that you had to put stanchions around it, like it's here, but you can't play it. Just look at it, don't touch it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, okay, so like, what's the purpose of having it? Like, should
Right.
we case it in glass?
Mm.
Like, it's really too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
They still have a piano. I don't think it's a player piano version because it's not like very grand or sophisticated looking.
Uh-huh.
But they have a piano in where the Woodwards building is.
Yeah.
Oh.
In the courtyard there where the basketball nets are, and people come up and play it. It's
Oh,
a
wow,
community
okay.
piano. And it's outside in the courtyard, but the doors get locked overnight.
Mm.
But I think there's a little bit of graffiti on it and stuff, so it's kind of become a little bit of like a public art piece piano thing.
Right.
But it's kind of cool. Anytime I'm in that area, somebody's playing on it, and like all sorts of people who are really marginalized folks who are in the area, and folks who are like working for the city of Vancouver that have their offices there, like all sorts of folks.
Yeah.
So the last time I was there, there was a man that was picking cans out of the garbage can, and then he set his garbage bag of cans on top of the piano, and he started playing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I love that.
And he was playing. I don't have an ear for classical music, so I don't know who the like who wrote the music, but I could tell that it was some kind of famous classical something. So like what it did for me in that moment was recognize my own privilege, because this is an individual who in this moment is trying to pay their way by collecting cans, and is probably living unhoused, but obviously had at some point been classically trained in music.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you
Yeah.
don't just pick up classical music on the piano without having
No,
somebody in your
exactly.
life that like paid for piano
Yeah.
lessons, or you went to a school, like that kind of thing. And so you just don't know somebody's story.
Yeah. That's true.
So in that moment, I just sort of sat on one of they have these seats that are like tree stumps in the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
I just sat on one of those and I quietly listened, and it was really a nice moment. I kind of wish that I had a little bit more guts to go and sit and talk with him, but I was there for an arts workshop, and I just sat there and listened until I had to go do my thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Great.
yeah, it just it's a moment of reminder that people are people.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways,
Sorry, my name's Leanne, and I just wanted
Come
to
on
say
in.
hello to you both. I've never been here before. This is my first time.
Welcome,
And I just want
Leanne.
to tell you how much I enjoyed it.
Oh, that's
It was
great.
fantastic.
Thanks,
And
Leanne.
I can't wait to share it with I co-facilitate a low vision and blind support group. So we're having that tomorrow, and I can't wait to share my experience with all our members tomorrow. So again, thank you so much.
Where are you dialing in from, Leanne?
I'm over in Victoria.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been wanting to join. I get the emails for
Yeah.
so long, and it just hasn't worked out. So I'm so glad that it did tonight.
Oh, good.
Oh,
We're
that's
so
great.
glad to have you. Yeah, our next one will be October 8th. Because we always take the first Wednesday. We typically
Right.
take the first Wednesday off.
Right.
But we'll be here for December 3rd because it's International Day of People with Disabilities. So it felt weird to not do that day. Something fun and special for that day. So we'll be here for that.
Awesome.
Yeah. We look forward to seeing you in the space again.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, friends, with that, I think maybe we'll call it an official night. And if folks want to stick around and do some chit chat, we'll leave the lines open a bit for that. But Emily, it's been really lovely having you on again, and having your I'm still gonna call it expertise, because you know way more about art in general than I do.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it.
And then of course you're also willing to just do the research and hold my hand in our hands and all that kind of stuff. So it's really nice to have somebody to talk through this stuff. We just knows way more than I do.
I'm always so happy to be here.
Yeah, so I'm really excited that you said yes to my invite to this. So.
Of course. Yeah. Looking forward to the next one.
One day we'll have you on with your work, and we'll talk through your work. Have an artist retrospective with Emily Crew. So
Sure, sounds good. Well, I don't know. Hopefully I can answer the questions on that.
Well, if you can't, that's a bigger problem.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. And keep your brains streaming on our public art project with this the Vocal-i community public art.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I'm in, and if it's just me, that's okay. But I think we can do a community thing.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. Sounds good.
All right. Have yourself a lovely evening. And with that, we'll say an official good night for the purpose of the recording. Bye-bye, YouTube's world. And we'll catch everybody on the next one.
Bye. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vocal-i, vocali.ca. Special thanks to our funders, the Canada Council for the Arts, the British Columbia Arts Council, the Province of British Columbia, and the City of Vancouver.